Here we go again. One more of these so-called transpersonal reflections. Transpersonal reflections because you are on the MTK channel. MTK meaning in Luxembourgish means Mein Transpersonale Care, which means my transpersonal core. And I thought it was a quite fitting word to describe what I am attempting. Like just reflecting upon myself, my life in general, meaning of everything, and finding my own stimulations, my own inspirations, and hopefully inspiring and stimulating others. Yeah, right now I'm again in a different location than my usual one. I'm here with my family here in Sweden, and it's again a different world, but a world that is very familiar, that also belongs to me. And this is a bit continuing the reflections from last time, saying that we are so much more than one reality, or that we are so much more than in one reality, and even in one of the specific realities we have many different layers if we care to look. So yeah, yesterday I went to Stockholm by boat, and it was also thinking about me as a boat going into the harbor, and maybe who is the harbor? Maybe I am one specific boat going into the bigger me that is this harbor. And even that boat has many different layers, has many different persons on it, which symbolizes all the different aspects of my very being here and now in this life. So the whole thing seems very dauntingly complex, but actually it isn't. It's like, it's like these trees here around, with all the leaves, and some trees are moving in the air, some others don't. And I'm sitting here on the construction site. It's going to be a little house, and right now you only see the structure, and that's how our life began, like building, the childhood, small infancy. You kind of start with the ground, with the structure, and gradually some walls appears, some walls come around and close in some experience. I mean, what we are is actually completely open. It's the sky. It's like, wow, it's the sky, it's open. We're not limited. But through our life, we start to build an enclosure around us. We start to build the floor, we start to build walls, and then the walls close. And we put on in some windows, but these windows are very structured. We define also what we're going to see through these windows. It's really like continuing this reflection around what this is all about. What is this all about? I mean, I can live my life in a very simple way. I just, don't ask questions. I go to school, I learn, I become somebody in terms of society and profession. I live that profession. I go through all the stages. I climb the hierarchy or not. And then at some point I have a family, I have kids. Kids go through similar things or not. And then you have a family and you're dedicated to your family, and your kids start their own cycle, in many ways very similar to your cycle. And what is lacking there is an understanding, an awareness of the meaning of the whole thing. Are we just meant to, being born and going through a cycle and growing old and at some point dying, and that's it? Yeah, and that is the question that triggered this deep longing, this deep curiosity about, knowing more about what's really going on. And I remember in my teens, I think I was like 14 or 15, I wrote a poem about a woman in Paris standing on a bridge and asking herself these questions and finding no answer. And the poem ended with her looking into the dark waters of the Seine. And I don't know if she jumped or not. At that time I had a feeling she would have jumped. But in my life I found enough answers to have had the strength to continue and not to jump into these dark waters. So, who are we? And what I started last time was, a reflection around our multidimensionality. We are multidimensional beings. What does that mean? Yeah, here we are in a material world that has, length, width, height, time, and space, and we have bodies, mammal species bodies with eyes and ears and certain spectrum of light that we can see and certain spectrum of sound that we can catch. And so we are totally identified with it. And part of the liberation is to question that, is to disidentify with that, and also find out that we are, that there is not just an outside, there is also an inside. If you close your eyes and just get a bit quiet, take a few deep breaths, just be where you are, just feel the weight of your body, and just let your thoughts be, whatever they are, let them be, don't hold on to them. And then after a while, when everything settles, just feel your own existence. Don't feel your name. I am that, and I am that man, I am that woman, I am that girl, I have that age. No, just forget all these stories. Forget all that. And just feel that you exist. Just that sense of existing, not even having a body, also forget that body, forget all the sounds that you hear. Just go beyond and feel this sense of I exist. There is something there. There is something there, otherwise I wouldn't be aware of it. You have the awareness of there being something, and that something has, find its way, has incarnated into that body, that personality. And you gradually have so deeply identified with it that you think, yeah, that's me. Yeah, of course it's you. But, if you look at it from the point of view of, that's also a big step to accept if it's unfamiliar for you. But having had more than one life, having had other lives in the past, then you would also close the eyes and think, that's me. But you would open them, and you would see a different body. You would see, different clothes. You would see different hands. You would be a different person, but you would still feel, that's me. I mean, that's one aspect, like this linear time aspect, that your soul or whatever, this immaterial spiritual part of you that incarnates, that is, what you can feel when you feel your own existence. That part is not colored by all these experiences. It's not even colored by, being you. Because being you is just a small part of the big you. The big you is independent of this body. And probably had many before and will have many after you die. Or maybe not, if you decide you don't want to come back. There are other realms for you to roam. And what I touched upon last time is coming back to this image of a tree. A tree has lots of branches. The branches have many leaves. So what if you are something like that tree, that the real nature is this huge being, that big tree with deep roots in the oneness of all. You rooted into what we could call God, this all there is. And you grow, and you have all these branches, and these branches grow all these leaves. What if the existence you have right now is maybe just one of these little leaves on a little branch somewhere in the crown or wherever of the tree? And all these leaves are maybe, I'm just saying maybe, I'm just fascinated by this idea, are just, existences like the one you live right now. But, I don't know, somewhere else, sometime else, some dimension else. And they all come back, they're all being taken in by that huge trunk, that huge tree that identifies as, I am the tree with all these leaves and all these branches. I mean, isn't that a fascinating thought? You are just to kind of get a feeling of scale. You are, I don't know what you are. I have no proof of what I'm saying. But imagine that right now you're just one of these little leaves. What if your consciousness, for a short time, can expand into the awareness of being, first being that branch with many other leaves, and then extending it to a bigger branch, and then maybe extending it to the tree itself, to this big trunk, and then feeling the roots, where they go. I mean, that is fascinating. That is really fascinating. Yeah, and there's also this metaphor about the sea. Like all there is, or the divine oneness is the sea. And you are one of the waves, and when you die, the wave goes back into the sea. But for me, that is kind of, yeah, I don't know. The word that comes, it's boring, but it's probably not boring. I think it's more, uh, yeah, it's more exciting than that. Because, that would mean you're just a wave, and that after being that wave, you just, are taken in again. But that oneness, that whole being that is all there is growing. It's experiencing all the layers of all the beings. Like that tree. Maybe that tree is itself like a little leaf on a bigger tree, and on it continues to bigger and bigger and bigger before it becomes smaller and smaller and smaller and just becomes one little point. So the human mind can only go so far as to imagine and kind of sort of feel around it. But really experiencing, if you would experience that energy, if that would be true, that you are this huge tree with all the different layers and all the different leaves, and not to speak of, that being just one dimension, and there being many, 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 many more dimensions. So it is kind of mind-blowing, but it is mind-blowing in a real way. It is mind-blowing in a way that you can feel the infinity and the eternity. It's not just like an empty concept. It is something real, it is, you can go into it, you can gradually move your way into it, imagine and feel, and then you get a sense, even if you don't get very far, but you can feel the horizon, you can actually, expand your vision, and maybe your brain is, while you do that, is growing new connections, because, understanding something is also very much the capacity of our physical brain to weave all these concepts together. Of course, our true being is non-physical, but it's anchored here in this physical brain. So, playing with these ideas is really great. And I have some other ideas, which kind of right now evade me, but which are, also very fascinating. But let's keep that for another episode. Okay, until then, be inspired.